explicit language in today's episode. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh. My beer just exploded. Anyway.
EJ, I just want to let you...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 136 of Tailgate Talks. This episode, as always, is sponsored by the Frisher Recycling and Junk Removal and the carbonated product that just exploded all over my floor. Gentlemen, wild card weekend is over. A lot to talk about.
Guys, with the amount of times we've talked about it on this show, and the just amount of times that, and I think the guy that's been the most, and I think all of us can agree, the guy that's been most passionate about it is Alex. So
a little bit.
I can't, for the love of God, be the one to say the words we're about to say. So, Alex, you're the guy to do it. And I know you've been waiting for this day for a very long time. So
2 or 3 years at this point.
I'm going to let you say it.
For those of you who
live
on that one island that's fully inhabited by natives that still use like bow and arrows and have zero human interaction with the outside world, Mike Tomlin announced yesterday, late morning, early afternoon, that he was stepping down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, real quick. You can't see it, even though I try to pull the light. But I'm going to write something on my board for now, like whatever, to commemorate each show. And if you cannot read what that says Tailgate Talks 2, Fans 0. Boys, what are the 2 things that we said was going to happen this year in the football season, both college and NFL? The number 2 things we said was going to happen.
It wasn't going to be Penn State's year, and I guess that the Steelers would be the same old Steelers again, would be the way to put it.
What happened?
Who would know?
We're undefeated. Yeah. We're undefeated. We go for championships here. That's what it's about.
Mark Madden, you know everything.
Oh, don't. Year and timeout for comparing me to that fat slob. I would rather be called Carl Jr. 1,000,000 times over. No, you're muted. No, you're in timeout.
EJ does this when his feelings get hurt.
You're comparing me. Oh, you want some too? Bam. Yeah. You know what? Just to add to it, Alex, boom.
You can't mute me forever, Carl Jr.
I told him I'd rather be called Carl Jr. than be compared to Fat Slob.
How about we let Alex lead us into this segment, Carl Jr.?
But anyway, yeah, no, it was time. It was time. Anybody that said otherwise, it was time. Because I was fully prepared to come into this episode ranting, saying, how couldn't you bring this guy back? Because this, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, this was supposed to be and I'm going to put my hands up on this one, an all-in year for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Listen.
And you made the moves. Hold on. All
right.
Yes, you made the moves in the offseason, and by the looks of it, it would look like to be an all-in year. You got Jalen Ramsey, Johnny Smith, even though his production, DK Metcalf. Yeah, you traded George Pickens. Like, sure. Aaron Rodgers. For sure. I'm going to get real close on this one. Did we forget who the head coach was? Exactly. And
I
guess
just want to
what?
say one thing before you continue. You're never all in when Arthur Smith is your offensive coordinator. That's all I gotta say.
That's true.
Bang.
So I said at the start of the year, until you win a playoff game, I don't care what happens. Like, I don't care. Just to quote the greatest of all time, E.J. Blaker. I don't care. None of it matters. None of it matters. I didn't care. Sure, they go 10-7. You win a playoff game. Whatever. Even though nothing basically changed. Whatever. But once again, we got dominated in the playoffs, and I'm like, this was the same thing as the last 2 years. Literally, the same thing.
I'm going to hold my microphone for this part because I need y'all to understand something here. Let me just make sure it's all okay. There's no audio going anywhere besides the microphone part that's right in front of my face. For all of you, how can I put this nicely? For all of you out there that like to partake in the act of licking windows that are saying, oh, how much of it's actually Tomlin's fault? The roster wasn't good. He just dragged a bad roster to the playoffs every year. Mike Tomlin has influence on the draft picks. He had how many years to get another quarterback that wasn't Ben Roethlisberger? Bro did his best Shohei Ohtani. I don't even know. He blew his elbow up in 2019, did his best Shohei Ohtani impression, got UCL surgery, and Tomlin's like, you know what? I don't care that my 30-something-year-old quarterback blew out his elbow. I'm not going to prepare. I'm not going to get a new guy to make him ready. You know what? We're just going to ride with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges.
Tell me how you really feel.
But the thing is, Alex, they were above 500 even with those guys.
Yeah, we've never had a losing season.
No, they
Don't forget
weren't.
that.
They were exactly 500. They were 8-8. I can't stand this. I can't stand this never had a losing season thing anymore because I have heard it even more since he stepped down yesterday. Saying he has never had a losing season at this point isn't even appropriate. I'm going to forever refer to it now as never having a non-losing season is the proper way to put it. Because finishing 500 or like 517 is not impressive. I don't care. Going 50-50 on your football games is not impressive. I don't care what anyone says. Mike McCarthy went 12-5 for 3 straight seasons in Dallas, couldn't get to a conference championship, and got unceremoniously canned by the organization.
Hey, you watch how you're talking about your next head coach. That's all I'm saying.
By the way, keep the merch. We're not selling merch right now. However, if you like this style and you like this shirt and you want us to start selling merch, let us know in the comments.
I can't. Before we move on from the Tomlin thing.
Oh, we got still a lot to say. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, pal.
I can't possibly be happy about it. Not because I don't think it's the right move. I think it's absolutely the right move. But this also means to me that I got to sit in the stands and I had to watch my quarterback, my favorite athlete of all time, get mauled, get absolutely ran roughshod across the field by that Houston defense in his last start of all time. Granted, the week before, I got to see the greatest miracle of his goddamn career that he didn't personally make sure happened. He went down, walked down a Ravens defense, and then if he's in green and gold, that kick goes through 10 out of 10 times. But somehow it missed. I got to witness that beautiful execution. And then you juxtapose that with the very next week where I get to see him just die about 8 times in front of me and think, but there's mutual interest that he could be coming. No, without Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers is done. I don't
He's not
think
coming
any
back.
other team takes him. And that makes me sad because I still think he has a little bit of juice. Even if it isn't the case, I don't want to let that go. And Tomlin being fired, or excuse me, being let go, it's very important. We said, not let go, stepped down. That was the
Yeah,
verb.
he walked away.
He
walked
stepped
away.
down.
Rooney
That's
Rooney
what it
has
was.
literally already said that he was ready to run it
Oh,
back another year with Tomlin.
Wait. I forgot because I told Alex this. I gotta say what I read earlier. Via NFL Insider, Josina Anderson. Mike Tomlin reportedly didn't feel appreciated by Steeler fans, and that was a factor into his decision to leave the team. Fry me a river.
Oh no. So sad. You've made like $100 million in your career as the Steelers head coach. Probably not that much, but like generational wealth to coach
Fry me
the
a
most
river.
historic franchise in professional football. One of the most, top 3.
Fry me a
That
river.
checks out.
That I hated that. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. You're not the only issue, the last whatever, but you're part of the problem. You were part of you were part of the problem. We can say that now. You were part of the problem, and now you're gone.
And this just goes actually.
Thanks for making the decision. Thank you. Thank you for making it. Now here's the thing though. Will my childhood feel weird now because we're gonna have a new Steelers head coach because I've only had Mike Tomlin as my NFL head coach. That's it. I've only had that. Yes.
Yeah, for as long as
My
I can remember,
childhood.
he's been the coach.
Yeah, it's sad to see him go in terms of my childhood. Adult me, I don't care. I want to change. I want to get with the times. I want to be great again. I don't want to be mediocre. If we have
And
to have a losing season to get there, fine. Fine.
this is what
Well, it's
worries
going
me,
to be a
though.
couple.
Sure.
This is what
Steelers
worries me,
fans
though.
are in for a rude awakening. You
That's
guys
fine.
are
This is
going
what
to have a
worry.
couple
No,
years
listen.
here.
I'm used
You're
to
gonna
it
be
with I'm used to
very
it with
bad.
their neighbors across the freaking whatever.
So this is what worries me, though, right? EJ, you weren't here for this, but I said this like 2 or 3 episodes ago. I heard it on the fan. I can't believe I've been agreeing with Andrew Filipponi recently. Like what is my life? Mike Tomlin willingly walked away from the Steelers, and I agree with Andrew Filipponi. I don't understand my life right now.
We're in a timeline.
Anyway,
folks.
this is something that they said on the fan a few weeks ago that I reiterated on here and I agreed with was Mike Tomlin needed to go. It was time. But the way in which it happened would determine a lot in terms of if Mike is the one to go, it's time for me to leave, then it shows that the front office has changed absolutely nothing. And that's what happened. Ownership in the front office is still the exact same. If Rooney went to Tomlin first and said, hey, I don't think this is working anymore. I don't think this is serving either of us. I think it's time that we, go our separate ways. That's one thing, because that shows that the front office understands and that ownership understands and is willing to give it the times. The fact that Dan Rooney has already gone on record and not Dan. Art Rooney has already gone on record and said that he was ready to run back another year. After a 30-6 loss in which it was your first home playoff game since 2017, it gave the Houston Texans their first road playoff victory in franchise history. You get absolutely embarrassed in primetime. You have not lost a home Monday Night Football game in over 30 years. And you're still willing to do it again.
You mentioned this. Mike Tomlin is part of the problem, not the whole problem. I tell you what, Mike Tomlin's defense did everything in their absolute power for the first 3 quarters of that game.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Arthur Smith, as Bryce so eloquently put it, Arthur Smith the rest of that game. And you absolutely could not I mean, you make a young quarterback turn the ball over 3 times and can't capitalize. I mean, I don't know what else there is to do.
And here's the thing. I'm not even going to put the defense thing on Tomlin because Tomlin is like, people don't know Tomlin anymore as like a defensive mastermind guy. Everyone knows him as a culture builder is what they know him as. That's realistically, that is Terrell Austin's defense.
Terrell Austin ain't getting a job anymore.
Which is why, like, I refuse to give Tomlin credit when the defense plays really well, and I refuse to destroy him when they play really bad. Because really, it's not his. It's his guys for sure. It's his guys, no doubt about that. But it's not his play calling. Tomlin's just the figurehead, the culture builder. Him and Harbaugh are very, very similar. In terms of like, that's what you look at them as. They're culture guys. They're not, defensive masterminds. They're not special teams guys. They're not offensive masterminds. None of that. Anyway, Bryce, go ahead.
How long has Bryce been raising his hand?
To say, if I may, he was going off there. You guys are far more passionate about this than me. I just want to say real quick one thing. Terrell Austin, 7'2" guy, D10.
Yes.
That's all. Outside of that,
Got Danny Smith, Burrow alum. Keep him.
I'll keep my remarks short because I watched the game. Actually, let me just go back to a text message between my girlfriend and I on the night of the playoff game. Now, keep in mind, my girlfriend's father loves the Steelers. My girlfriend loves the Steelers more than anything. And I quote, let me find it exactly because you guys are going to love this. She said, fire the whole Steelers staff. She said, you know what? I don't even care. It would have been cool to advance, but at least they beat the Ravens. That right there has been the Steelers' mindset for years. Who cares? We at least got into the playoffs. Like I said, they're far more passionate about this than me. I think it was definitely time for a change. I think that, as EJ has said already, it could definitely be a very dangerous time for the Pittsburgh Steelers, depending on who they hire and what happens. But they prove that mediocrity isn't what they want. Now, the issue with that is it's a double-edged sword. Who knows what will happen? But I know that a lot of Steelers fans rejoiced when they read that Mike Tomlin has stepped away from the program.
So I will add to this. Who is it? Matt Farrago? Is that how you pronounce that? I forget. Anyway, he's a Pittsburgh guy. He does marketing at PPG. He's on The Fan, all that. He tweeted yesterday, Pittsburgh fans might just get to find out the grass isn't always greener. And my exact response was, everyone knows you have to lose to get better, idiot. That's exactly what we've been asking for. So if that doesn't sum up my stance on the current state of the Steelers.
Here's a perfect parallel, I think. And Mike, you might appreciate this one. The Steelers remind me so much of the New York Yankees in that they are paragons of the 60s and 70s and 80s. When you think of those decades in their respective sports, you think of those teams, the Steelers, the Yankees, the Cowboys. Those are your teams when sports were really starting to blow up in the U.S. Those old owners who had passion for the sport and passion for their teams, who would win at any cost. Losing was not an option. The championship was the goal and the standard every single season. Those owners' kids now own the team. And
Yes.
It's very clear they grew up in a different world and they don't have the same passion and drive for the sport like their parents did because they're satisfied with looking at the bottom line, seeing the revenue their team is making. And,
Yep.
oh, we had another extra game this season to make a little extra money off of. Oh, we had a winning season and sold out every home game. That's what they look for. That's the drive isn't there. This is not the Yankees of old, just like it's not the Steelers of old anymore.
And I think
I'm
that
not saying there
was-
needs to be a change of ownership. I'm just saying the apple rots from the core. And if you don't have that drive and passion at the very top, you will never succeed.
And I think that was evidenced in, I get that there was a damn near sold out crowd for week 18. And I get that there was a damn near sold out crowd for the playoff game too, but I forget if it was Roethlisberger someone said after the Ravens game, and it ended up being ditto for the playoff game on Monday night as well. The place was full, but it didn't sound like a Steelers home game. Even when
atmosphere was great.
Even when Loop misses the kick and it sails right, it didn't sound the way that play would have sounded in 2017.
No.
Go
the
back
place exploded. But that's the standard that you're looking for. I get what you're saying. And
go back to the Immaculate Extension in 2016, Antonio Brown on the goal line. That place, I thought that place was going to collapse from like the decibel level that emitted from the crowd when that happened. And it just seemed like even when things happened that were good in week 18 and in the playoff game against Houston on Monday night, it didn't have the same resonance to it. The crowd, like, they were happy that a big play happened, but it's almost like they weren't even ready for it because they were just expecting something bad to happen.
Exactly. It's a sense.
And that's not the way the Steelers. My mom talked about it before anyone even said that about the Ravens game in week 18. As I was watching that game with my mom, she even said, she was like, because my mom like was a kid whenever, the Steelers were great she was born in 1970. So like, I think the first Steelers Super Bowl was like, 75 or something like that. She was like 5. So she was old enough to remember it. And she said that those crowds were just vicious. Like they were impossibly loud. And that was in a smaller stadium. It was, not what, the current day stadium for the Steelers is. But those crowds were just relentless. And it just doesn't sound the same anymore.
That does have a little bit to do with the fact that they now have an open arena. Whereas back in the old Three Rivers, it echoed. You had that kind of...
Yeah, for sure. It was, I believe, like concrete seats, at least in some parts and stuff. The acoustics were pretty crazy, for sure.
Yeah,
it's sad to see. It's sad to see. It really is.
Yeah. So I think this really has to go to say, though, that, the staff has to be cleaned out, right? Like, this is just like Tomlin stepping down is just the first hammer, the first shoe to drop, right?
Here's my next point. Here, I offer you a trade. Listen to this. I hear you guys need a head. I'm sorry, I dropped it.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have to mute it. I got a little too passionate too quickly. I blew my load. I'm sorry. Let me read. Let's take it from the top. You can just cut that out. I propose you a trade. You need a head coach, right?
No.
I think my special teams coordinator is a terrorist. How about you give me Danny Smith? I'll give you Matt LaFleur. Straight up, that's it. We'll figure out the rest. I think that's the way to go. Huh? How we feeling about it?
I love Danny, but I would totally trade him for Matt LaFleur, dude. 1,000%. Okay, while we're on this subject of coaches, real quick.
Oh yeah,
I promise we'll move on.
I was gonna say go straight into it because of what we're doing later. We need to.
Yeah, so this will not happen. I am fully understanding that this is a pipe dream and it will not happen. But I saw a reel the other day that made me want it even more because I think it's symbolic of what has been happening with the Steelers over the past decade. I saw a reel from the post-game presser of the Big Ten Championship when someone asked Curt Cignetti about the play call to throw that deep ball to Charlie Becker late in the game that set Indiana up to take the 13-10 lead that they inevitably ended up hanging on to. And Curt Cignetti, when asked about that play call and that decision to let Mendoza chuck a deep ball in a 10-10 defensive game late in the game where you could just not take a risk. It was 3rd and long. You could just, play it safe and, trust your defense to keep holding out. And Curt Cignetti's words were, I don't play the game to not lose. I play the game to win. if the Pittsburgh Steelers managed to lure Kurt Signetti away from Indiana, that reel would be all over every single one of my social media pages because that is exactly how I felt about the Steelers over the past decade, is us playing to not lose instead of to win. It's not going to happen, like I said, but the symbolism would be absolutely insane on top of him being a Pittsburgh guy, all that, you know.
You want to get sick? You want to get nasty real quick? If we're just talking about potential hires for the Steelers, what if you got Harbaugh?
I wouldn't even want it. They're like this. Him and Tomlin are like the same guy.
But that's my point. What you want to get sick? You want to get nasty? You go from Tomlin to Harbaugh immediately. Oh my gosh! I think we would revolt. I think Pittsburgh as a city would revolt.
Well, Bisciotti said, the Ravens owner said, like he would be thrilled if they could get Tomlin.
I don't see it. I think
I don't see either of
Harbaugh
those
to the
guys going
Steelers.
to the
I think
divisional
Harbaugh to the
rival.
Steelers is more likely than Tomlin to the Ravens. Let me put it to you that way. 'Cause Harbaugh
That's
got
fair.
fired. Tomlin stepped down. If you look at the official verbiage.
Anyways.
Anywho, we can move on now.
Yeah. So, you know what? Because we're so passionate right now. Honestly.
Oh no, don't give me another thing to yell about, please.
No, not you. DJ. You were really mad on Mug Talks, clearly. Of course, you see the time. I don't know if you can see the timer on the top. I don't know.
I'll cut it. I'll cut it real short here. I'm gonna give it
Okay.
short and too sweet.
And everybody, and here's the thing: if you want an extended cut of what EJ thinks, go watch Mug Talks on the TikTok. There you go.
Go watch.
There you go.
It's full 10 minutes of me screaming in my car after that game. It's full 10 minutes. I went the full 10. I took my time. I made sure I got all my thoughts out as eloquently and curse-laden as possible.
And it's
When I
unfiltered,
tell
so it's even better.
I mentioned it earlier. I watched the Aaron Rodgers Ravens game about 100 times, but he just played for the Packers, and the kick always went in. This time it missed. The Jordan Love Packers are a whole different animal. At least I could count on Aaron Rodgers going down and winning the game, and his defense giving
And
up.
Brandon McManus hitting some like 60-yard moon ball that goes in.
Yeah, because we had a kicker. His name was Crosby, and he's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He won't be, but I think he is.
Legend Mason Crosby.
When I tell you I have lived through a lot of bad playoff losses, some real tough ones, this, I think, has to be the worst. And it's a shame it comes when I'm the most numb as a Packers fan I've ever been in my life. Because
You're
honestly,
already down on the ground, and
if you want my honest opinion, I knew the season was over when Tucker Kraft tore his ACL. Forget about Micah Parsons. When we lost our number one option, that was it to me. Anything after that was house money, as much as I wanted to believe.
EJ, if it makes you feel any better, that ended my fantasy season.
Dude, you telling me we got a rubber match against the Bears? I'm talking about the Bears. I'm not talking about the Bears. I'm talking about the Bears. The best they have ever been in my life. And I would live for the NFC Championship game that they seemingly all season have invented ways to win. 1 week they're blocking kicks. The next week they're running a 2-minute drill, but it's actually only 15 seconds. And somehow Colston Loveland has his breakout game. Whatever it was, they have invented ways to win all season. I tell you what, as soon as we went up 21-3, I thought to myself, this is it. There's no way we come back from this. He misses that kick to go into half. Brandon McManus, mind you, should be in jail. Should be in jail. I'm not talking about for missing kicks. He should just be in jail for other reasons.
Look it up.
Allegedly.
Look
Google
it up.
it.
Google it. We're not saying it.
Do
on
a
the show.
Kurt Signetti. Google it.
Yeah. Misses that kick. Instead of 24, it's 21-3. I said, we're losing this football game. My brother's like, why are you so negative all the time? Why are you putting that out there? I said, because It's written in the stars. I've seen Matt LaFleur do this. He goes into the halftime, and I think the halftime adjustments thing, it's BS. They play their game the whole game. That's how it is. There are no adjustments, I don't think. But he goes into half, and instead of keeping his foot on the gas, everyone says this. Everyone say he took his foot off the gas pedal. No, he just forgot how to call an offense. He called the best offense he had all season, and then goes into half, comes out, and just forgets that you have to score more points. It doesn't matter how far up you are. You don't win at halftime. Very much like you are frustrated with Tomlin, just forgot how to play 4 quarters. And we lose in a heartbreaking fashion because Keyshawn Nixon is a punt returner we have as our number 1 corner. And our special teams misses 2 kicks and an extra point. A thousand times I've seen this game. And you'd think I would sit here and be so pissed off about it, but I'm just exhausted. And this is why I'm jumping the gun. You guys dealt with Tomlin for much longer than I am. I can't do it with LaFleur. If he doesn't bring in Mike McDaniel and OC who can take on play calling responsibilities and be the culture guy and buy himself a few more years, I cannot watch it. I get it. We rebuilt the team. We're in like year 3 technically of a rebuild, and a lot of our guys haven't matured together fully. But I cannot do it. Matt LaFleur simply refused, especially to the Bears, to Ben Johnson's Bears. I'm not doing the handshake thing. I don't need to litigate this, but I think I can do F the Packers. I can do being excited for your team. Shake the man's hand. Don't do the little anyway, that's all.
Anyway.
I'm done. Fire Matt LaFleur. If not, hire an OC. Jordan Love, 4 touchdowns, 320 plus. That's a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's it. That's all I have. That's my piece.
Can I extend my beef about something that you mentioned?
Go ahead.
Can we stop letting guys that are serious, either offensive or defensive contributors, be the starters on special teams? Can we stop doing that?
Yeah.
I thought we all learned our lesson when Bill Parcells had Tony Romo hold the field goal against Seattle in 2007 in the playoffs. Why are we still doing this thing where we have major offensive and defensive contributors playing special teams? I do not understand that whatsoever. I get Ben Skoranek being your wide receiver 5 and being your best special teamer. That makes sense. But why are we having Josh Jacobs and Keyshawn Nixon returning kicks and punts? That makes absolutely zero sense to me.
The Josh Jacobs one, yes. Why do we have Keyshawn Nixon playing corner? That's the real question, because he's not good at it.
There's that, too.
He is our returner, and he was an all-pro at it. And for some reason, bright idea, Rich Bisaccia said, actually, we're going to try out some other cats. You go play our number 1 corner spot. Go match up against Jamar Chase. Yeah, that'll work out great.
Anyway, I'm going to mention the next thing before our next ad read. I will actually keep it short and sweet this time.
I did. That was short and sweet.
Yeah, for almost 10 minutes.
I could do a full hour.
I got a timer. Yeah, I got a timer, buddy. Anyway, because I have to mention it because it did happen last week. Trae Young was traded to the Washington Wizards for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum, and that's it. Listen, I like CJ McCollum. I like Corey Kispert. Obviously, it was a salary dump, but how do you get picks out of DeJounte Murray and who else? There was one more. I can't remember who. And you don't get any picks out of Trae Young. I know his draft stock went down a little bit, but again, with the trade, it was time. I feel like the Hawks need to build around Jalen Johnson instead because he's a big man. I think Trae Young, unfortunately, is not like Luka, and you can't build around him. He's just not his size and everything. And trying to think about it, I don't really know where Trae's going to go after his contract's up. I don't think he's going to retire. I don't think they're going to pay him in Washington.
I think they will. I think
You think
it's
they
an
will?
extension.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, thinking of other teams,
Okay, as
Is-
a
is
non
is
as
Dame
an
is Damian gonna be done, Lillard, or no? Because I can
Yes,
see him
but
in
they have got
Portland.
so many guards in Portland. It's like
Yeah,
it's not,
he probably would stay in Washington. That's the only logical place because that's the
I
only
would-
place I could see him going.
that I think because Washington wasn't originally on his list of teams to trade to, and
Mhm.
then magically they became suitors. I think that Washington talked with him and said, "Hey, we can get an extension done for you, and we can kind of just you can ride it out here." I think that's good. It's refreshing in the NBA to see a team just kind of cordially break up with a player. They just usually you see a diva freak out and request a trade, and there's all this drama behind it, and they're doing a Trae Young and the Hawks were kind of like, "Hey, I just don't think this is working." And
Yeah,
that's
and it
that.
wasn't.
Yeah, and I appreciated that. That was nice to see.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
I can hear
Yeah.
you. I can't see you.
Well, I was gonna
You're-
say, why
you're
am I
on freeze
frozen?
frame right
I was gonna say, why am I frozen?
Oh yeah, you are frozen. I just
There we
realized
go.
that too.
That was weird. Yeah, no, it was time, and I think the Hawks need to rebuild right now, build around Jalen Johnson, and get another big man and work on the defense because the defense has been an issue, and Trae Young's defense was an issue. And yeah, that's literally it. I saw we were possibly looking at Anthony Davis. Now that he's hurt, I don't.
Is
No.
that hand surgery for him, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I saw that.
I think
I mean, you can trade for him. Houston, or not Houston, excuse me. Dallas will probably still field offers, but like you just won't get any use.
Yeah.
Out of it.
Now, of course, everybody has their long shot on trade that they want to get, and mine is Giannis. So
He ain't going anywhere.
no,
Can't
he's not.
have him.
He's not. But that's my long. Everybody has their long shot trade that they want, and that's mine. Anyway, Alex, we got to
Hey,
pay the
I'm
bills.
sitting here. I'm sitting here praying for Signetti or Gruden as the Steelers' next head coach. So
Gruden would be great.
Anyway, we got to pay the bills because we are low on time because we
Yeah,
went
we
through and Mr. Short and Sweet over here.
And
alrighty. This episode of Tailgate Talks, as always, is sponsored by DeFrisha Recycling and Junk Removal. DeFrisha is a family-run business out of Greenville, PA, that provides services such as vehicle purchasing, scrap metal purchasing, appliance removal, junk removal, garbage services, dumpster rentals, curbside pickups, house garage, and building cleanouts and demolition around the Greenville and Pittsburgh areas. If you or anyone you know are in need of any of these services, check out the links in the description down below. Go to DeFrisha's website or to their Facebook page. Get in contact with them today. See if they provide their services in your area. Thank you to Fresher for sponsoring this episode of Tailgate Talks. And with that being said,
And hold on, no,
let's do
I'm
it.
gonna add. No, we're not there yet. We have.
Darn it.
I'm gonna add on to these advertisements too, and I'm gonna say it once again. If you want us to start selling merch and you like this, please tell us in the comments so we can sell some merch. We have other things in the works, of course, this year. And if you're wondering what that sound is, it's this. Real quick, this is a yes or no question, EJ. No explanation needed because it was a question topic on ESPN. Is the Warriors dynasty over?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like we have not let Bryce talk a lot. I'm gonna let him take the NCAA predictions for a few minutes, and then we'll get right into the fixing the Steelers. And I'll go first on fixing the Steelers because I'll go quick. And yeah, I don't like to explain a lot of things because I do not care.
It's Indiana versus Miami. Very short and sweet. There's no way Miami beats Indiana. We can move on now.
Really?
yeah,
I mean, come on, Carson Beck.
No, I mean really,
Miami,
like that's short.
Miami,
Like that's short.
Miami is very solid. Obviously, they peaked at the right time, but I mean, we're looking at an Indiana team that beat Oregon twice, Ohio State, said other schools that they played that I can't even think of off my head right now, and a Miami team that beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely dismantled Oregon.
You know who else the Miami Hurricanes dismantled?
Shut up.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Did they
Oh,
go
you don't
over?
know? Like it's the so this school tends to have a problem getting into the NCAA basketball tournament as well. I think it
Listen,
rhymes with
listen.
Knit Lanthers.
Listen.
Oh, you mean the universe Oakland University? Is that who you're talking
Yeah.
about?
You're on the
Oakland.
right track. You're on the right track.
Shout out Jack.
Oh no, you're right.
Dolke.
They made the tournament. My bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, you clowns. Anyway,
Wait, real quick before we fix the Steelers, what are your thoughts on Bregman to the Cubs?
don't even.
What do you think about Arenado?
Oh
Are the
yeah, I
Cardinals
forgot
doing?
that trade. That's pretty
I
big.
forgot it
Not
too.
that big a sign.
But my prediction: Miami hasn't beat anybody. Texas A&M's weak. Okay, they beat Ohio State. Congratulations. Obviously, they deserve to be ahead of Ohio State, but they're playing Indiana, who beat Ohio State. They beat Pitt, and after that, Florida State, who was dog. South Florida, Notre Dame didn't make the tournament. So I think Indiana goes 16-0 and wins it all. I probably won't watch it if I'm being honest with you.
Me either, honestly.
Although- Just say it out
because
loud.
You have the most hateable quarterback in college football in Carson Beck, and the most lovable college football quarterback in Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah,
no,
I
for
mean,
sure.
Miami having a chance is hinging on like Carson Beck, Malachi Tony, and Mark Fletcher legacy games. So like,
And Ruben,
Just listen
and
to it out
Ruben
loud.
Bain
though.
legacy game. Yeah,
that's it.
Carson Beck, 3-time national champion.
Anyway.
his record in college football is crazy. Against
Nuts.
top 10 opponents, included against top 10 opponents.
Anyway, we
I'm gonna be honest. I would like him so much more if he just wasn't so goddamn ugly. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, we get it. Sid the
I'm
Sloth.
not even gonna
Sid the
lie.
Sloth.
I would
Anyway.
like him so much more.
Timmy.
Oh my god. Anyway,
My point exactly.
the last two things I'll say about this: Miami does like to dominate up front, so we'll see if they continue against that. But I also think Indiana's going to win. First of all, I do think Miami having a home game in the national championship is going to be a sick atmosphere. First of all, I don't think it's going to make a difference with Indiana, but we'll see.
Wish it was the 90s with the U. I don't think I can watch Michael Irvin put belt BTA on a freaking water cooler one more time, dude. I don't think I can.
Anyway, all right. So now we're fixing the Pittsburgh Steelers. I will go first because, like I said, I barely have any explanation. It is 42:20 right now on the time, and like I said, we like to keep it under an hour, so I'm going to go as quick as I possibly can. Anyway, coaching candidates first. Head coach. I think, and I said this in the chat yesterday. You need an offensive-minded guy. You need to try something different too. So if he's available after this season, I would go for Joe Brady, the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. Also something that is, and because if remember, and this is my logic behind, and I know I said I wasn't going to explain, but I want to at least say this. The offseason, there was moves that the Steelers was uncharacteristic of the Steelers. I think they're going to do it again. Now, as for the OC and DC, I'm going to take a different route here. I'm going to go with guys that you guys probably don't expect me to pick. And for the defensive coordinator, as I'm trying to find my notes right here, I'm going to go with Chris Shawla as the defensive coordinator.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then for my offensive coordinator, I'm going to go Zach Robinson.
Ooh, Zach Robinson is
I'm
interesting.
trying something new here. Now, the only trade I'm making right now, and obviously if we were doing a full rebuild from 5 years from now, I'd be trading Highsmith, I'd be trading DK, I'd be doing all that. But this is for this draft only coming up. I'm trading TJ Watt to move up in the draft too. And my first pick, you for the love of God need a second wide receiver, whether it's free agency or the draft. And at this point, sorry, Alex, Cardinal Tay was already taken. I
Unfortunate, but
traded
expected.
up to get Arizona State's Jordan Tyson.
Health concerns, but I love him whenever he's healthy. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah. Again, once again, trying different things that work because you got to try to get with the times.
I like it.
In my draft, I am one to fix the offensive line and the secondary. So my next pick is D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana in the second round. Then I'm going
fit for the
offensive
defense.
guard Brian Parker the second. Then I'm going defensive tackle Darnell Jackson Jr. That's just a Steelers pick, a random defensive tackle in like the middle rounds. Then I'm going Malachi Lawrence, edge out of UCF. Traydon Stucks from Arizona, corner. This one, I really just did not give a crap because I was just like, this is just a funny pick just to pop you guys. I'm going Garrett Nussmeier for my next pick.
Let's go.
I popped you. I popped you. There we go.
I don't hate it.
See, EJ, like they like to say in the wrestling business, I got to pop the boys.
It's a cheap pop, but it's a pop.
Cheap pop. And then next, I'm going Kevin Coleman Jr. from Missouri. Then Azilion Hamilton, Fresno State. Ricardo Hallman from Wisconsin. EJ. And then Christian Gray, Notre Dame. And then Mike Wazowski. I'm not pronouncing that last name, but out of Texas Tech. So basically, you get the point what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying new things with the coach, deciding coaching wise, but I'm getting a second wide receiver, fixing the secondary, and could have did a little better with the offensive line because I only got one offensive lineman. But yeah, I was more focused on fixing the secondary more than anything with a new defensive coordinator and all of that. So there we go. I wasted more time than I wanted to.
I just want to say real quick, Joe Brady, obviously current Bills OC, Buffalo and Pittsburgh, very similar cultures. That was my original pick. I did end up switching, but that was my original pick just because I think the cultures are so similar.
Nice.
You want me to go?
You know what, Bryce? You have more trades and stuff than me. I'll go and I'll let you go last.
Okay.
All right. So, got a couple things to run through here. First order of business, coaching staff. So, head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Obviously, let me go ahead and split screen my stuff here so that I can look at this while I go. So, first of all, I like the idea of a younger offensive mind as the next head coach, but I also like the idea of a young defensive mind who could bring a very good young offensive mind with him. So for that reason, and because of legacy and stuff like that, Steelers are a legacy team. You know, they like bringing in guys that have history and stuff like that. Even though Tomlin was actually, when he was hired, a very big gamble. He wasn't even a coordinator when he got hired, and he was only like 34 years old or something like that. Anyway, new head coach for the Steelers in this iteration of a rebuild for me is former Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula. Coming along with Shula is Rams pass game coordinator Nate Schulze, as Mike said, as their offensive coordinator. So Shula comes in as the head coach, brings in a young offensive mind he's already familiar working with as the new offensive coordinator, which I think will be great. The Rams offense is pretty innovative, great balance between run game and pass game, vertical, horizontal pass game, all great. I love all of it. So I'm down for that. And then the new defensive coordinator, I think probably we could all say, what's the weakest point of the Steelers defense? The secondary, right?
Yep.
What's a secondary that we've seen that's very good? The Eagles. Naturally, new DC, Joe Witt, Eagles' current DB's coach, is my pick as the Steelers' next defensive coordinator. Before we get to the draft, I do have two trades to get through real quick. First one, sending DK Metcalf to the Bills for picks 126 and 228. Second, I am sending 126 and 228 will be added to my mock draft, by the way. I did do that. So 126 and 228 this year from Buffalo for DK Metcalf. And then second trade, Steelers send Jonnu Smith to the Carolina Panthers for 2027 5th and 7th round picks. Those, I think, are probably two trades that are actually relatively realistic. I know people are probably going to cringe to the thought of trading DK for a 4th and a 7th, but he's got a big contract and obviously some character issues after the suspension this year. And then free agency wise, again, real quick, I'll run down this. Guys that I think we should re-sign: Calvin Austin, Kyle Duggar, Kenneth Gainwell, James Pierre, Asante Samuel Jr., and Isaac Seumalo. I think are all guys that are pending free agents that should be re-signed. Guys that we could probably release that are pending free agents, I think Cole Holcomb and Marquez Valdes-Scantling are probably two guys you can let go of. So those are my re-signs and releases. We'll go through those quick. And then finally, get to the draft picks. I didn't have us trading for any receivers. I did have us trade away DK Metcalf. So this draft will be heavily focused on replenishing receiver and replenishing secondary. Keep that in mind. Round 1, pick 21. A bit of a gamble because of the injury from this past year, but I love Jermod McCoy. I think he is a great player. I don't think that there are really any receivers at 21 that you would really want to stick and pick with at that spot. So round 1, pick 21, I'm going to go Jermod McCoy. I think he would be a stellar complement to Joey Porter Jr. on the other side on the boundary. Round 2, only second round pick of the draft, pick number 53. He lasted in this mock draft. I'm going with it. Give me Elijah Surratt out of Indiana. 1,000% explosive, good hands, good route runner. I'm all about it. Round 3, pick 76. I'm going to go AJ Halsey, the safety out of LSU. I think, like I said, I want to re-sign Kyle Duggar, but I think a guy like Halsey could be good depth and could learn behind if we keep Ramsey, which I don't even want to say is certain because I'm not positive that we will. But I think Halsey's a great pick there. Next, Mike and I actually agreed on this one. I have another Indiana player in D'Angelo Pons. I love him. He's small a bit. He's undersized, but man, is he just really aggressive, really willing to get up and stack and shed blocks, make tackles. Makes total sense as a Steelers defensive back. Next, adding some depth at linebacker, I've got Josiah Trotter, the linebacker from Missouri. After that, with pick 99, I love all of those SEC linebackers. I think they're all really, really low risk kind of guys to take in that spot. Double dipping at pick 121 in round 4. Again, he lasted. I'm taking him. Give me another IU receiver. Give me Omar Cooper. I love him. I love them both. They're both fantastic. Round 4, pick 126, Cade Piper, inside offensive lineman out of Iowa. He's an O lineman from Iowa. How do you not take him if he's there?
Yeah.
Pick 135. This one's going to make you all laugh, and it made me laugh when I did it. But you know what? There's been some iffiness behind Kenny G and Jalen Warren, and we might not even re-sign Kenny G. So give me Katron Allen at 135
I like
out of
that.
Penn State.
I like that pick. No, I like that pick.
When I saw him there in this mock draft, because like I said, I just picked the Steelers and then I just, simulated all the picks that weren't the Steelers ones. I saw him there at 135 and thought, well, I'll be damned. I'm taking him because there's no way that I can't there. Also, by the way, the pick before that, Cade Piper with 126 is the first pick that we acquired from Buffalo in the DK Metcalf trade in this situation. Round 5, pick 159. I'm going to take Tyreek Sapp, edge out of Florida. Edge depth. Can't really go wrong there. Round 6, 213. Again, can't go wrong with depth. Give me DJ Hicks, the interior defensive lineman from Texas A&M. Second, 6th round pick, number 214. He's one of these Polynesian guys. I'm not even going to try and disservice him by pronouncing his name. He's an offensive tackle from Wake Forest. Again, good depth. This time in the draft, this is when you look for depth and potential quality rotational players. Final 3 picks, round 7, pick 224, Dallin Bentley, tight end out of Utah. Again, I don't know a lot about these guys, but they're just depth. And again, you traded away Jonnu Smith in this situation, so tight end depth would be nice to have behind Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth. Number 228, the second pick acquired from Buffalo in the DK Metcalf trade. I actually simulated the 7th round because I just got tired of doing it by myself, and I figured at this point, the CPU could probably draft pretty well on its own. And you know what? Jalen Daniels at 228. If you let Skylar Thompson go, you got Mason Rudolph and Will Howard and Aaron Rodgers retires. QB3. I don't mind that. And then again, pick 237, the last pick in the Steelers draft. Again, this one was simulated, but simulation had us taking John Michael Gillenborg, tight end out of Wyoming. I'll never complain about a tight end from a corn state. Well, not a corn state, but a country state. Yeah. Wyoming tight end. He's either like the most unbelievable athlete you've ever seen, or he's like 6'8", 285 and can just play offensive tackle like Darnell Washington. So I'll take it. Word. And that is my Steelers rebuild for year 1.
There you go. Bryce, you got like 6 minutes.
That's going to be over. Just letting you know now. Not that far, though. I went a different approach with these guys. I went for the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers to be Jesse Minter, mostly because defensive-minded guy, and he's worked under Harbaugh, both of them. He's worked under both Harbaughs, brought a national championship to Michigan with his defense. He's made the Chargers defense way better than when they were under whatever that guy's name that used to coach there. I think it was Staley, but I don't remember.
Who remembers
The
that guy?
offensive coordinating side, nobody's going to expect this, but I think it's a shot in the dark at a guy who's young and going to try to make a name for himself. I went with Shea Tierney, the Giants quarterback coach.
Interesting.
You might ask why. Jackson Dart has looked insane this year. It's not like the Giants' offense is really that great.
Yeah,
They have a bunch of young guys, but he makes it work with his quarterbacks. And even when Russell Wilson was in there, he didn't look horrible-ish. Anyway, the defensive coordinator, Alex, is going to hate me for this, and I hate myself for this. We're going to go down to that state, or we're going to go over to that state, and we're going to go get Matt Patricia and bring him up as our defensive coordinator.
Cancer.
And the only reason we're going to do that is because Jesse Minter is a defensive-minded guy. Him and Patricia, I kind of think, have somewhat of the same concept in how they run their defenses. So I think it would definitely be good to keep that steel curtain image. That's more
And
like
you
a
know
paper
what?
napkin now.
The
But-
Steelers love those disguise coverages and stuff like that, and Patricia's a big disguise coverage guy, so that actually does make sense.
I think Minter and Patricia would be a crazy duo right there for the
They
defensive
probably,
side.
honestly,
The offensive side of the ball, that's why I went with that Tierney guy, because you're going to have a shot in the dark and hope that this guy's just a stud. I had more trades than Alex. I traded TJ Watt, but I think the Steelers win this trade by trading Watt. I traded TJ Watt for Jesse Bates III, a second in the 26th draft, and a fifth in the 27 draft. There's your safety help right there. He's been a top safety for I don't even know how long, but for probably at least 4 or 5 years, 4 years, something like that. Anyway,
What
I
do you
traded
mean, Bryce?
Broderick Jones.
The Bengals let him go, and it worked so well for them.
Exactly, because they're geniuses. I traded Broderick Jones and a third for Brian Thomas Jr. and a third in the 26th draft.
I would love that one so much.
That is one where he had a down year. They drafted Travis Hunter, brought in Jacoby Myers. Where does he really fit into that offense anymore? He had a down year. I think it'd be I'd make the call. Then from there on out, I traded Freiermuth for a fifth in the 2026 draft. And I traded for Anthony Richardson, and I gave a third. Now, everybody's like, this is crazy. He sucks. He's a bust. Just in case you didn't know, the only quarterback in the NFL that's younger than him is J.J. McCarthy. He is the same age as Drake May. He is the same age almost as Jaden Daniels. He is the same age as some guys that are still in college. You can't give up on the kid yet. I think he's still got juice, and I agree. I think he's gonna be like Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones will say that had this comeback. So that's where I filled some of those pieces with trades and whatnot. And this is how I drafted. First pick, I went offensive tackle. I watched Samalu get thrown around way too many times that I couldn't watch it anymore. I watched Broderick Jones just continually just break every Steelers fan's heart, except sometimes, more often than not, though. So I went, I'm not going to mispronounce his name because I'm not even going to say his last name. I went with Francis M. from Miami.
Oh, Maui
Offensive
Noah.
tackle,
Yeah.
Big guy. Perfect fit for the Steelers. Could be a potential plug-and-play year one with their already young offensive line. And you get rid of Jones, so you're going to have to fill that role somehow.
I am
Then
a
in
fan
round
of Maui
two-
Noah. Yeah.
Okay. Then in round 2, I went with the safety from Oregon, Dylan Thiemann, I think is how he pronounces his name. Tall guy. I know we just traded for Jesse Bates and all this other stuff, but I think in terms of pro ready, if you're not getting Caleb Downs, I think he's probably the next guy that you're going to go for at safety. Before I continue, I'm going to say the guys that we re-signed because that'll help the picture of all of this. We're re-signing Samalu, Duggar, Pierre, Asante Samuel, Gainwell, and Holcomb. Those are the guys I have them re-signing. Everybody else, there's the door. Then I traded pick 76 and 159 to the Giants 4, pick 105, a 2027 third and fourth round pick, which I think helps us load up to go get that franchise QB next year. Round 3, I took Darrell Jackson, just like Mike did from Florida State. Nose guard, physical, big, going to move people, not going to get moved like our current nose tackle does whenever he comes in. Then in round 3, I took the steal of the draft at offensive tackle. I went with another offensive tackle. But when you hear this guy's name, you're going to understand why. I went with Jennings Dunker from Iowa, the offensive tackle. Look his picture up online and tell me that this guy doesn't just scream franchise left tackle, Hall of Fame left tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He might be the biggest bust in the world, dude, but I'm telling you, just looking at his name, looking at where he plays football at Iowa, by the way, there's no way this guy lets you fall on your face. There's no way.
Dude, what an absolute animal.
I, too, in round 4, went with Katron Allen, I think, because I'm not signing back. Or actually, I think I'm cutting Caleb Johnson, to be honest with you, but that's beside the point. I think Katron Allen could be a great 1-2 punch with Jalen Warren. And then you throw in Gainwell into the receiving end. That could be crazy. I also made another trade. I traded pick 121 plus 224 for the 138th pick. I don't know who that was with, but it doesn't matter because this is all simulated. Round 4, I went with Damani Jackson from Alabama. He's a cornerback. He was a former 5-star recruit, heavily recruited to go to Michigan, ended up going to UCLA, I believe, and then transferred to Alabama. I think that guy is going to be a steal. Probably a depth piece for the time being, just because obviously JPJ played really well and so did Pierre. Then in round 4, I actually went and got us another wide receiver. Now, hear me out on this. Nobody's going to know who he is. Nobody's going to know his name. But from watching some film and looking into it, I think this guy could potentially be a big name in football next year. Kind of like Puka Nacua. Not many people knew about him. I think this guy's that Puka Nacua. His name's Bryce Lance. He's from North Dakota State University. He's not going to be a speed demon. He's not going to be a huge jump ball guy, but he's going to be open. He's going to make the catch, and that's all that's going to happen. He's going to get you a couple yards after the catch. It's not going to be anything crazy, but if you need 3rd and 10, a first down, you're throwing it to this guy. That's who I picked for our wide receiver. Now, everybody's going to say that's crazy, and he's probably going to be a bust, blah, blah, blah. I think from what I saw and what I think could translate for the Steelers, they need that guy that, for sure, if I throw it his way, he's going to catch it. Because it's not DK Metcalf. We saw that this week.
Listen, man. I'm a sucker for guys from FCS powerhouses, all right? I really am.
Well, you're going to love this guy. Let me sell it to you a little more.
Cody Mock? Come on, guys like him, animals.
I then, in round 6, traded pick 214 for, and a 2027 7th-round pick for pick 185. And then at pick 185, I went ahead and drafted the best defensive player on Michigan's team this year that I think could be a big piece in the draft. And I took Jimmy Rolder. Jimmy Rolder's a stud, man. I really hope he gets the chance he deserves in the NFL. He's a bruiser. He does not miss tackles. And I think that everybody's going to overlook him just because he didn't start all 4 years and he was only a 2-year starter. But I really love the guy, and I think he's going to make a team happy. Then, round 6, I went and got a quarterback. This guy's literally like a 4th stringer, maybe a practice squad guy. He was still there, so I had to take him. Cade Klubnik was still there at pick 220. How do you not take him? Last guy I took offensive guard from Texas, DJ Campbell. Kind of just round 7, shot in the dark. Texas guy. You know what everything's bigger in Texas, and he's massive. So could be a nice plug guy next year. So that's how I'd fix the Steelers. Obviously, there's some cap issues, money issues here and there.
Carousel is GM.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in terms of like trying to get him to win, I don't know. That's what I went with. I went with win year 1 with what you got.
Put us in the front office.
Yeah, there you go. All right. We are out of time, Alex. We got to pay the bills, and don't forget about his merch.
This episode of Tailgate Talks, as always, is sponsored by DeFrisher Recycling and Junk Removal. If you or anyone you know is in need of their services, check out the links in the description down below. Check out their website or their Facebook page. Get in contact with DeFrisher today, see if they provide their services in your area. With that being said, gentlemen, any last words?
Shout out the Red Wings, hottest team in the NHL. Don't worry about what happened last night. They didn't lose to the Bruins 0-3. It's fine. They're hot. Mo Sider for the Hart Trophy and the Norris Trophy. That's all.
Pitchers and catchers report soon.
Michigan did not lose to Wisconsin in basketball. They were robbed.
Oh, we didn't even touch on that. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, too
No.
late.
All right, Alex, throw the paper and finish it. Throw the paper and
Good
finish
night,
it.
America.